It has taken several weeks, but I have now finally done a short covering the location of all skill books for every skill. So to wrap the series up in a neat bow, I've put together this one full vid combining all of those shorts into this one tutorial with timestamps. I hope it helps. Where to find all illusion skill books? Let's go. You can find 2920 Sundawn Volume 2 in Dark Light Towers just southwest of Riven. It's on the table in the room with the Hagriven. Before the Ages of Man can be found in the Jarl's quarters inside of Dragon's Reach. Up the stairs, straight ahead, turn right, and it's on the table. Incident at Necrom can be found at an unmarked shrine directly south of Dawnstar. The Mystery of Talara Part 4 can be found inside of Nepos' house in Markov. I probably screwed that pronunciation. In the northeast bedroom next to some candles. Last but not least, the Black Arts on Trial can be found inside the White Vial Alchemy shop in Windhelm, right under the counter. All Conjuration skillbook locations, let's go. 2920 Half Fire Volume 9 can be found in the Mortal and Pester shop in Dawnstar, underneath the counter. 2920 Frostfall Volume 10 can be found inside of Belvin Hlalas's house inside of Windhelm. This will be a master lock to open if it is locked, but after you're inside, just head up the stairs and it is behind the dresser. The Liminal Bridges book can be found inside the Falkreath watchtower at the top inside the tent. The Doors to Oblivion is located inside the Hall of the Dead in Falkreath. And last but not least, the Warrior's Charge can be found inside the Brittle Shin Pass next to the enchantment table. Where to get all the destruction skill books, let's go. A hypothetical treachery can be found inside of Arantino's house in Windhelm, behind the bookshelf. Horror of Castle Zir can be found outside the unmarked burning house in the bottom right of the map, under the tree. The Mystery of Talara Volume 3 can be found in Bernia's Oddments inside of Winterhall, on top of the dresser. The response to Barros' speech can be found inside the Ironbreaker mine in Dawnstar, right on top of the barrel next to the bedroll. And finally, the Art of War Magic can also be found in Dawnstar inside of the White Hall, up the stairs on the left, and it's on the small table. This is where to get all the restoration skill books in Skyrim. Let's go. The 2920 Rain's Hand Volume 4 can be found on the table inside of Thalian's house in Morphall. The Mystery of Talara Volume 2 can be found inside of the Frost Flow Lighthouse just right of Dawnstar. Through the door on your right as you walk in. The racial phylogeny can be found inside of the Corpse Light Farm inside of Falkreath. The Exodus can be found in the basement of the Frozen Hearth inside of Windhull, between a pillar and a crate along the wall on the west. And finally, Wivishins can be found inside of the Temple of Kinnereth in Whiterun, on the bookshelf. Here's where to find all Alteration skill books. Let's go. The Breathing Underwater book can be found inside of Kraldar's house inside of Windhull, hidden inside the basket. The Daughter of the Ninibin can be found inside the Understone Keep in Markov. Up the stairs on the right on this table. The Reality of Other Falsehoods can be found in the basement of Snowshod Farm just south of Rift. Sisyphus is actually quite a hard one to miss. It can be found in the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary right as you walk in. And towards the end of the storyline, it will be shifted to the new sanctuary you unlock in Dawnstar. And finally, the Lunar Lorcan can be found inside of Mazakas's room inside the Solitude Lighthouse. All these pronunciations are so hard for the stuff. All Enchanting skillbooks, let's go. A Tragedy in Black can be found east of Eldergleam Sanctuary on top of this crate. The catalogue for armor enchantments can be found inside of Thalian's house inside of Morphol on the shelf. The catalogue of weapon enchantments can be found in the White Hall in Dawnstar, between these two barrels in the enchanting room. The Enchanter's Primer is inside of Carlotta's house in Whiterun, on the bedroom floor. And finally, Twin Secrets is a hard one to find inside of the Jarl's Longhouse in Windhold, in the Jarl's bedroom inside of this basket. All smithing book locations, let's go. Cherim's Heart can be found inside of the Quicksilver Mine in Dawnstar, at the end in this box. Heavy Armour Forging can be found inside the Whistling Mine southeast of Windhold, straight as you enter on this barrel. The last Scabbard of Akrash can be found southeast of the Blackbriar Lodge, up this hill under this shield. The Light Armour Forging book can be found at the top of the Silent Moon's bandit camp near Whiterun. And finally, the Armorer's Challenge is sitting next to Codlack's Forge in Whiterun. All Heavy Armour skillbook locations, let's go. 2920 Mid-Year Volume 3 can be found inside of Morphol in the guardhouse, behind the barrel next to the fireplace. Chimar Vamadivium can be found in Reachwind Eyrie southeast of Markarth, straight as you enter on the table. Halgerd's Tale can be found in the Rift Watchtower east of Ivasted. Orsinium and the Orcs can be found in the cellar of Dushnik Jarl just below Markarth. And finally, the Knights of the Nine can be found in the Palace of the Kings in Windhelm. Upstairs, first room on the left on the top shelf. All block skillbook locations, let's go. The Dancing Fire Volume 2 can be found at Fort Snowhawk just west of Morphol, on the table in the room with the enchanting table. The Battle of Red Mountain can be found in Redwater Den near Riften. Death Blow of Abanonite can be found in the Hall of the Dead in Whiterun, the western room inside of the catacombs. The Mirror can be found in Broken Tower Redoubt, south of Dragon's Bridge, on the bookshelf in the room with the beds. And finally, the Warrior can be found at this unmarked camp just east of Dragon's Bridge. All two-handed skillbook locations, let's go. The Battle of Sancretor can be found inside of Dustman's Cairn northwest of Whiterun, straight as you enter. King can be found in Bleak Wind Bluff northwest of Rorikstead. The Song of Hrome can be found inside of the Jorvaska living quarters in Whiterun, on the table right next to the map. The legendary Sancretor can be found inside of the Falkreath Guard barracks, upstairs on the chest next to the bed.
Aye. Now there's a beautiful sword.
And finally, Words of Philosophy can be found inside of Lost Knife Hideout, just northeast of Aveston. It's next to the second group of enemies on this table. All one-handed skillbook locations, let's go. 2920 Morningstar Volume 1 can be found inside of Jorgen and Lemais's house in Morphol, inside this bucket. The Fire and Darkness book can be found at this unmarked fishing camp to the very northwest of the big lake next to Riverwood. The Mace Etiquette book can be found in Fort Greenwall just north of Riften, in the captain's quarters. Night Falls on Sentinel can be found at this unmarked bandit camp directly south of the Guardian Stones. And finally, the importance of where is it Chill Furrow Farm east of Whiterun, inside the bedroom on the dresser. All archery skillbook locations, let's go. The Father of the Neban can be found in Autumnshade Clearing just northwest of Riften, on the Dead Hunter. The Black Arrow Volume 2 can be found in Whiterun behind the counter inside of the Drunken Huntsman bar. The Marksmanship Lesson can also be found in Whiterun in this display case inside of the Jorvaska living quarters. The Gold Ribbon of Merit can be found in Angus's camp just south of Falkreath. And finally, Vernicus of Borlor can be found in the Clear Spring Tarn far south of Windhelm. Jump off this hill to get to the cave part, and it's on the altar at the back of the cave. All light armor skillbook locations, let's go. Ice and Sheetin can be found inside of the guard's tower in Markov, in the northeast corner on this table. Jonah Brett's Last Dance can be found in Autumn Watch Tower just south of Ivarstead. Rislav the Righteous can be found on the second floor of Fort Greymore just west of Whiterun. The rear guard is located at Castle Tower in Solitude, straight down the stairs on the right on the table. And finally, the Refugees is found in the bedroom of the Solitude Blacksmith, on the shelf. All sneak skillbook locations, let's go. 2920 Last Seed Volume 8 can be found in Ralbfar west of Windhelm, in this big open room straight ahead on the back table. The Legend of Crately House can be found in the Night Gate Inn to the left of the river west of Windhelm, in the cellar on the bedside table. The Sacred Witness can be found in the northeast of Morfall, just below the abandoned shack on the body of a Draugr. He's quite hard to spot mixed underneath the rubble and bushes. The Red Kitchen Reader can be found in Pine Watch just west of Helgen. There's a button on the wall in the basement that opens up a hidden tunnel. The book is on a shelf immediately to your left as you leave the tunnel. And finally, Three Thieves can be found just south of the Shores Watchtower, which is north of Riften, inside of this fallen tree trunk. All lockpicking skillbook locations, let's go. The advances in lockpicking can be found in the training room inside of the Ragged Flagon in Riften, on the barrel. Staying inside of Riften, the Surfeit of Thieves can be found inside of the Jarl's bedroom in the Mistvale Keep. This will sometimes count as trespassing, so you have to be quick. Proper lock design can be found in the Faldar's Tooth just west of Riften, at the top of the tower on top of this round table. The locked room can be found inside of the High Moon Hall in Morfall. Up your stairs to the right and it's on the shelf. And finally, the Wolf Queen Volume 1 can be found inside of Clag's Lane Cavern southeast of Windhelm, underneath the bar. All Pickpocket skillbook locations, let's go. Avar Stonesinger can be found in this unmarked bandit camp just west of Dragon's Reach. The Beggar can be found on the second floor of Helga's bunkhouse in Riften. Purloined Shadows can also be found inside of Riften inside the Honor Hall Orphanage, on the floor between the bed and the nightstand. The Guide for Better Thieving can be found in the Jarl's Longhouse in Falkreath, in this locked display case. And finally, Thief is quite hard to miss. You find it during the main campaign while you're exploring Bleak Falls. It's on the table before the staircase with the skeeters. All speech skillbook locations, let's go. 2920 Second Seed Volume 5 can be found in Sadris's used wares in Windhelm, on the shelf behind the counter.
Just about anything.
A Dancing Fire Volume 6 can be found in A Dead Man's Drink in Falkirk. It's behind the counter. The Dancing Fire Volume 7 can be found in the Beggar's Row in Riften, hidden under the small red bush directly across from the entrance. The biography of the Wolf Queen can be found in Balfour's shop in Whiterun, on the shelf behind the counter. And finally, the Babaing game can be found at the Shrine of Periite just west of Carfweston, on this bench. All Alchemy skillbook locations, let's go. A game at dinner can be found in the Honningbrew Meadery near Whiterun. Upstairs through the room with the locked door. The Re-Room Dyrenis can be found in the Grave Concoctions shop inside of Falkirk, under some baskets in the corner. The Herbalist's Guide to Whiterun can be found on the table in Arcadia's Cauldron in Whiterun. Manny Marco, King of Worms, can be found in this unmarked location just to the right of Dragon's Bridge. And finally, Song of the Alchemist can be found inside of Anis's cabin just west of Riverwood. And that about wraps it up. The full mini-series of all skill books is finally complete. We now move on to the next series, where to find all shouts in the game. The first handful of shorts are on the channel already, and over the next few weeks we should be able to wrap that series up with a full video similar to this one. Thank you all so much for your continued support. The channel growth has been insane. I will see you all in the next video, but for now, peace. Thank you for watching.